Peace, peace, folks. Happy Monday. Evolve Benton here, the Speaking for Profit coach. And today we are talking all about how to free yourself from burnout and how to show up as your best self when it comes to creating your offers, right? So, we're going to talk today about, of course, how to create your webinar funnel, which is what you'll be using. To be able to sell your masterclass and, well, not your masterclass, your online course, and how to do that in a seamless way on Kajabi. I'm also going to give you a couple of templates today, which is going to be great. You're going to get some templates on how to put together your sales page. One template is going to be a sales page builder that's going to really be able to support you. So I see some folks saying happy Labor Day, y'all. Happy holiday. I know today is going to be a less engaged class because I'm sure that so many folks are in the holiday. And to be transparent with you, I usually take this day off, right, to really be able to get some rest in. But I thought it was important because all of you all have so much momentum going on in Course to Profit to go on and do this training, right? So just as a reminder, a few updates. Next week we will not have a training. It won't be a live training. I'll do a pre-recorded training that will be added to Kajabi, and once it's added, you'll know about that. So before we get in, for folks who are here right now, just go on and share a win. What win do you have for this week? What win do you have? How's your workbook going? Right. Last week, I gave you a lot to create your offer workbook. So, what wins do you have going on? And then I'll share a couple of wins that I have, and hopefully, folks will bring in some other ones. So, one win that I have for this week is that this weekend I actually spent some time really doing some brainstorming and some intimate retreating on all of the things we're going to be adding to S4P University in the next 6 months to a year. And I got to do that with our amazing accountability coach, BX Barclay. So thank you so much, BX, for being there and being in the space. We actually did this in person, y'all, which was really cool. And it was a great space to be able to be together. So that was really cool. We met up in Oakland at some really cool spot called Oak Stop. And Oak Stop is, I believe, Black owned. It's in Oakland and it's a great co-working space. So we got to do that. So that was great. That was a good, really good space. What we decided on is that we're going to be doing actually an in-person event next year. So I can't wait to share more details with our members in the next couple of weeks. So that was really great. Hey, Spirit, glad you were able to make it today, too. I know you've been traveling a lot and doing your thing. So welcome to the space, fam. If you have any wins that you like to share, please put them in the comments. And the other thing that I'll share before we get into the training is that I had to turn down a contract recently. And I wanted to share that with y'all because I know that everyone here is, creating online courses, but you're essentially still speaking for profit, right? You're still using your voice or your message to impact the world and build something profitable. So, as you all know, I speak and I consult still in companies around the globe. And a group came to me and they wanted me to speak. Unfortunately, the day that they wanted me to speak is my wife's birthday, and it was a nice bag, y'all. I'm gonna admit it was a nice bag. It's not the biggest bag I've ever gotten, but it was nice. And I had to tell them no. I had to tell them no. And I had to tell them no because we're creating new standards in our family. And one of those standards is that we don't work. We don't work on each other's birthdays. We really take the time to spend time with one another because money is something that can be replaced and always made, but time cannot. So I told them no. And that was a big step for me because I'm normally a person who is very much a people pleaser, says yes to everything. It's really hard for me to say no, especially when it comes to, a little extra money. But I said no and I felt really good about it. And I said no, but I also said, hey, here are some other Black trans masculine folks that you can reach out to. And I felt good too, right? To be able to be honored and represent and share some of my friends that they might be able to work with. So let's see some wins that were coming in. Eve said, my workbook is mostly complete. I have a little fine tuning to go. Had done it by my phone, but had issues which required me to redo from scratch, which helped me refocus a few things. Great, Eve. Please, please, folks, share your workbook in our Mighty Network community so that we can give you some feedback. And I'm so happy you got that done, Eve. I'm so sorry that you had some trouble, but I'm glad that it happened. Spirit, I'm really making great progress with my workbook. I feel clearer and clearer about my class. It's really developing well. Yes, I'm so happy to hear that, y'all. Congratulations on the workbooks, right? Get that done because once that's done, that's going to give you so much labor of love that you're going to be able to use for the next step, right? So let's get into today's training. Today's training, I'm going to teach you how to start marketing your course so you can make some profit, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to actually go into Kajabi and we're going to create a webinar funnel. And what I love about this funnel is that you can create it because that's how we're going to sell it. We're going to sell our course through a webinar. You can create the webinar, all of the emails that go out to people. And then on the back end, it's also the sales page. So when the webinar is over, right? Essentially, you're going to do a webinar, you're going to give value, you're going to do an amazing live training, you're going to get people to come. It's going to be free. And at the end, you're going to sell from the stage your online course. And what's great about that is your sales page and everything's going to already be built out. So you're going to be able to sell it, give them that link, but also you're going to have emails that are going to follow up with people to tell them, hey, get in on this offer. This is a great opportunity for you today. So for today, we're going to focus on creating an offer, creating a webinar, creating the sales page, and all of that. And then when I do my pre recorded training for you all, that training is going to be all about email marketing. I'm going to give you some email templates and also marketing in general when it comes to social media and in your world, right? So look out for that as well. I try to piecemeal this for y'all because I don't want to give you too much at one time. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I want you to follow the steps, and this gives you great progress. So let's start off with what are the first things that you need to decide before you even go into Kajabi, right? And create your webinar funnel. The number one thing that you need to decide is the date. What date are you going to do your webinar? What I like to say is we want to give our audience at least 2 to 3 weeks to buy into the webinar, right? So if we decided we wanted to do a webinar today, maybe we would decide it is 2 weeks from today, right? And if it's 2 weeks from today, today is the 5th, that would be the 19th, right, of September. So maybe that's the date you choose to do it. Don't make this complicated. Pick the best date for your schedule and your time. Don't try to broadcast and ask people when it would be best for them. Make it about you, right? Pick a date, pick a time. I always say a webinar should be anywhere from 60 minutes to 90 minutes, right? 60 minutes is might be how you want to share it with the world, but maybe you give yourself on the back end 90 minutes just in case you have Q&A that you want to answer at the end for people to give them a little bit more value, right? So 60 to 90 minutes. So let's say you said it was going to be on September 19th and it was going to be from noon to 1 p.m., right? That's what we're saying for this test, right? For this sample webinar that we're putting together. So you need to decide that. And the other thing that you need to decide is how are you going to deliver this webinar? Is it going to be through Zoom? Is it going to be through Webinar Jam? Is it going to be through YouTube? What I'm going to show you how to do is how to set it up on one of my favorite platforms, which is StreamYard, and then do it on YouTube. Because I think that that's probably one of the most effective ways to do it. It's free. StreamYard is free for everyone unless you decide to upgrade. Zoom and Webinar Jam will charge you to be able to do it. So I'm going to teach you the free way because, like I told you, I want to show you how to do this with the little amount of resources as possible until you make some profit. And then you can always upgrade, right? So let me show you. And this is going to be interesting because I'm on StreamYard. I've never used StreamYard while on StreamYard, but I should be able to do that. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see how we're going to create this. And we're going to call this a webinar on how to buy a used car for under $3,000. That's our webinar, right? And I just made that up, y'all. So this is our test, right? So let me share my screen with you so you can see. All right. So if you see that, you'll see that I am right now in StreamYard. This is my account, right? These are some of the live trainings that I've done or that I have coming up. And what you're going to do is you're just going to log in, create your StreamYard account, make sure you do all that jazz, and then you're going to create your broadcast, right? And it's going to be a new broadcast. Once you create on StreamYard, you should be able to add in different destinations. If you haven't added in a destination yet, go on and add in your destination, and then you're going to just add in your YouTube channel, right? If you want to learn how to create a YouTube channel, go to Google for that. I'm not going to show you all of that, but you can do that. Trust me, it's very easy. So, YouTube channel, you'll click there and you'll connect it. Since my YouTube channel is already connected, I can just click it here, right? So, I would click it here, and then I would say title, how to purchase a used car for under $3,000. Right? Great. And then maybe you want to give it some kind of description. You want to make it public, right? So people have access for it. And then you're going to schedule it for later. So this is going to be scheduled. If you want to create a beautiful thumb art, I think that that's always great. You can create that on Canva, right? Remember we talked about Canva. And what I love about this is this gives you the exact recommended size. So you can go into Canva, resize it, and create what you need. You can also use Fiverr to create something. But just remember, this isn't super important. This is just kind of like something you can create for aesthetic. You're going to go back to the date. Remember, we said we're going to do it on September 19th, and we're going to do it at noon, right? And then that's all you would do. And then you would simply create the broadcast, right? So now that the broadcast is created, what I love about this is now we have our link, right? We would go simply over here, view on YouTube. Let me see if it actually takes you over. It didn't. So let me share my screen again so that you can see where it takes me to. Right? So it took me over here because we just created this over to YouTube. And what I do is I get the link, right? This is the link that is going to give people access to this. So this is your webinar link, right? Grab it from YouTube. Bam. Perfect. We've got it. And you're going to need this later, right? When we get into creating our webinar funnel, right? Which makes it a lot easier for us to be able to sell, right? So you've got your date, you've got your link for the webinar. Now let's get into Kajabi so I can show you how to create the webinar funnel, right? And what I want you all to know about this is that this is something that you can reuse as you market your course, right? Don't think like, oh, I do this webinar one time and maybe some people don't buy it. What do I do? Right? Like, and all that stuff. Don't worry about that. I don't want you to worry about that. I don't want you to be thinking to your there we go. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back, right? Let me make sure my audio is back too. Hold on one moment. But yeah, you don't want to be creating these webinars. And yeah, my audio is back. And doing it in a way that you think you just do it one time. You could do this webinar once a month, once a quarter, over and over again because your audience is always growing, right? So don't forget about that. So let me share with you and let's get into this funnel. All right. So here's Kajabi, right? We're in Boy Meets Wellness Kajabi again. Yes, Spirit. Are you using StreamYard for live today? Yep, I'm using StreamYard right now, Spirit. So I'm showing you what I'm doing, right? These are literally the tools that I'm using. Great question. Great question. So we go into Kajabi, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to first, what we're going to do is we're going to actually create the product, right? Because on the back end of this, remember we're going to sell, right? So we want to already have our product created. Now, what I want you to know is having this product created does not mean it has to be done all the way or anything like that. You can go back and do a lot of this jam, right? What you're really doing is creating this so people have something and so that it's on the back end. So let's go into products and then we're going to have a new product. It's going to be a course, right? Because you're creating an online course. Get started. And whatever your title of your course is, not the title of your of your webinar. So whatever your course title is, remember we worked on this. So we're just going to put test for this, test 1, and then you want to put a description of the actual course, test 2, and you want to continue, right? We're going to make this a blank course. We're going to just start from scratch. Great. And then if you had an image for your course, which like I said, you can create through Canva or Kajabi, however you want to do it, right? You would add that image here and then you would simply continue. right? This is going to be a paid course, right? So remember we talked about pricing, decide on your pricing, right? For this course, it's going to be $400, right? Great. Make sure it's connected to a financial option, Stripe or PayPal. Save and finish, right? So that's the first step. You want to create the product and you're going to see why you need this, right? So, first two steps we did, we created our webinar link through StreamYard, right? Which is what we're using. I'm going to give you a discount link to StreamYard, a referral link, so you can get some options to upgrade for free, right? So I'll give that to you. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about signing up. That'll be given to you in our notes, right? Remember, we always give resources every time we have a training. So you're going to create this product. And once this product is created, then we're going to create the funnel, right? So webinar link, first thing is date, give yourself 2 weeks, webinar link, and then we're going to create our product and then we're going to create our funnel, right? Give this a minute. Kajabi takes a little bit longer sometimes than I like, but that's fine. It'll be done in a moment. Yep. Closed captioning is unfortunately not available on StreamYard. However, I believe it is available, Eve, on YouTube, which you're on. I'm just not sure how one turns on closed caption on the back end of YouTube. That's something that I have to learn more about. But I know that it is available on YouTube. I'm not sure on how to do it. So that's something I'm going to take a deeper stab at and look into. Okay, so this is taking a while. So I just want to get over to the funnel side of it. Maybe this is just like pending. Looks like it's still building. Okay, adding finishing touches. Let's just get over to the funnel. Hopefully it's done it for us. Sometimes, Kajabi can be a little bit slower, right? So it does have our test there. That means it created it. Great. So what we're going to do now, right? This was remember where I went? This was under sales, right? So I went under sales and I created a new offer. That's what you're doing essentially. You're creating that new offer so that people have access to that, right? And that product, right? Very easy for yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to marketing and then you're going to go to funnels and then you're going to create a new funnel and you're going to go to Zoom webinar, right? And feel free to watch this video if you want to. It kind of explains how the funnel works, but I'm not going to go through that. I'm just going to get started, right? And the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to name your funnel, right? So remember our title was, what was our title? How to purchase a used car for under $3,000, right? So let's put that here. How to purchase a used car for under $3,000. And then we're going to have a meeting link, right? And that meeting link, remember, is going to be that YouTube link we talked about. That's where we're going to put here, right? Remember, I said you need to know your start time. So it's the 19th, 12 p.m. Pick your time zone. We're picking Pacific. And then your offer, right? And your offer is going to be that test that we just created for the $400. Bam. Now we put in this information, right? We put in our title, our meeting link, which was from YouTube, our webinar time, of course, our zip code and test. And now we're going to create the funnel. So give it a minute as it creates. See some things coming in the chat. Eve says, it may not be available in replay if you give permission. Okay. I'm going to see what I can do with that, Eve, and kind of like figure out. YouTube is it's not my strong point, but I'm figuring it out slowly but surely. So now it has created this funnel, right? And this funnel is amazing because, like I said, it's a one-stop shop, which I love about it, right? So the way that, let me make this a little bit bigger for myself to see too. Want it to be bigger for y'all and bigger for me, right? So what I love about Kajabi is if you see on this left-hand side, they've already given us our steps so that we make sure that we don't skip anything, right? So the first thing you're going to do is your registration page. Then you're going to create your confirmation page and then your sales page, right? And then once it's done, you can share that funnel. So a lot of people, when they start to do this, they get scared that people are going to get to the sales page before they pitch. And they have set it up where this will not, the sales page option of this will not be sent out until after after the webinar. So no worries on that. And I'm going to show you a little bit how you know that and the emails and the way that it's going to be sent out. So the first page you're going to do, right, is your registration page. And this is simple, right? This is simply where they're going to register for the webinar for free. This is how you're going to grab their email, right? And you're going to put in a description, webinar title. You fill this in with your own copy, your own language, right? Hosted by your name, your experience, accolades. If you want to keep this background, great. If you don't, all you got to do is go over here to the right-hand side. Let me move this so you don't see that. Right-hand side and click background, right? And then you can change the background. You can change all the stuff here to make it on brand for you. What I love about it also is it shows you how it's going to show up on a tablet, shows you how it's going to show up on a tablet, on a phone, right? So you can kind of adjust it to make sure that it looks good. I always make sure that it looks good on the phone because that's usually what a lot of our clients are using, right? So the first thing you're going to do is registration page and keep it simple, right? Name and email is great. If you're doing some form of text messaging, great to ask for a phone number as well, but keep it simple and make it easy for folks. We don't want people signing up for your webinar and it being really complicated and people leaving the page. So we just want to make sure that we give them that access, right? So once we've created that, the next thing we're going to do is go into the email side of it. So the way that they've set this up, right, is that soon as someone signs up for the webinar, they immediately get an email number one, right? So at time of registration, what you can do is you can click in here, right? And see what that email is set up as and add your own stuff, right? So it says, thank you, your spot is saved. First name, thanks for registering for your webinar name. Here are the details of where we get started, the time, right? The webinar link will be emailed to you on the day of. Here's what will be covered in the webinar. Insert number of list bullet points you'll take from talking about from the live stream. So it gives you a whole format, right? Your name. This is what they're going to get soon as they sign up. Day 2, right? We're giving them more value, right? It's an email all about the problems that you're solving at the webinar, right? So you want to go in and edit that. Day 1 before, right? And they're sending this out before the webinar. So remember this when it comes to timing on this. This is at time of registration, but the rest of it is kind of like right before the webinar, right? So this is 2 days before, right? So if you wanted more emails to be sent out, you would have to add that into here, right? And you would just go all the way down to the bottom and add it. Let's say you want to be sent out maybe every Wednesday before or something else. You can add more emails, but they've given you a great roadmap, right? So email 1 right after, email 2 2 days before the actual event, email 3 1 day before the event, email 4 15 minutes before the event, right? And I always think this is great. Like a reminder the day of. And you could even do one right on the event if you wanted to. Right? So then we have a link for what? The sales page. Look at this. Email number 5. This is sent out 1 minute after the event, right? So what you want to know is that this is going to be sent out 1 minute after event. So you might want to adjust this timing, especially if you think you're going to have Q&A. What I usually do is I'll go in and instead of this being 1 minute after the event, I'll make it like 30 minutes to an hour. And all you would do is just simply click here. And instead of it being 1 minute, you can update that, right? And you could say 30 minutes, right? And then you would just simply save it, right? And then they also do email number 6, right? Which tells people that the card is closing, right? A 48-hour warning, plea, last call, right? 4 days after. So they give you emails that are going to be sent out to that list of folks who signed up for the webinar at least 4 days after the event to remind them to sign up for your course. So they're doing all the labor for you, right? They're reminding people before, reminding people after. All you have to do is come in and maybe adjust some times and add your value to this email copy. It's super easy, it's super fun, and it makes it really easy for you. Great. So I've got a question. That's a great question, Kim. I'm going to answer that in a moment after we get through this. But thank you for your question. Just give me a moment. Okay. So now that you have your emails, right? This is great. The next step is for you to complete your confirmation page, right? And this is really what goes after somebody registers. So they register for it. Then they see this page. You can add a whole bunch of value on this page. You can add a video that says, "Hey, thanks for signing up for the webinar." You can, if you have a Facebook group or a group you want them to join, you can add that here. What I would suggest, if you're giving any bonuses, maybe you want to add a bonus and give them access to that lead magnet that we created. You can add that here, right? You can update this page just like you would update any other page. What I would suggest is keeping this, maybe changing the background and adding more, but keep this. This stuff is needed. The date, the thank you, and the countdown, right? Super important for the thank you page, right? So this is the confirmation page that you're going to add value to. And then next, you're going to go to add and update the sales page, right? So this is the sales page that's going to be sent out after your webinar, right after, whether it's a minute, 30 minutes, whatever you decide in that email, this is what's going to be sent out. And this is also the link that you're going to use when you share with people at the end of your webinar to sign up. This will be the link that you use, right? So you give your offer title. They give you a whole flow, y'all. All you have to do is literally fill in your brand and your information. What's your call to action? What's the benefits of the course? Maybe some testimonials from folks. Offer title, call to action. Call to action is buy here, go here, do this, join us, whatever it may be. And when they click on that call to action, it's going to send them over to the checkout page, which we'll get into next, right? So they give you the exact skeleton that you need to create your sales page for your course. And what I want you to know is spend some time on this, but don't spend too much time, because really where you're selling is going to be through your content leading up to that webinar and at that webinar. That webinar is going to sell itself. So it's important that this just really gives people the basic information they need to be able to click there and simply go to the checkout page, right? So that's next. Once you've completed the registration page, you've updated those emails, you've updated that confirmation page, and you've updated your sales page. Next, you're going to go to cancel. You're going to go to offer checkout, right? And it's going there now. Give it a minute. You know, Kajabi could be a little slow. I love Boo, but she can be a little bit slow. But yeah, so this is the checkout page that's coming up right now. Let me go on and, while that's coming up, answer this question for Kim. So Kim, are save to calendar link options included in the confirmation emails like Google Calendar, etc.? Yes. So you can do that, Kim, if you wanted to do that, right? Like when you go in the email, you can just create a link that says, "Hey, go on and save this to your calendar," right? On the back end on Google, what you would do is you would take that link I gave you in the beginning. I don't know if you were here when we first start talking about YouTube. So we're using a YouTube link for our webinar funnel. You would create that actual event on your Google Calendar, and then you would, in the back end, right, grab a link for people to add it to their calendar. What I love about YouTube, right? And let me go on and stop sharing this for a moment while it uploads. And let me share this with you really quickly, Kim, so you can see. What I would do is, since we're using YouTube, I would direct people to just go on and set up a reminder with YouTube itself, because that gives you a lot of power, right? So here, when people go onto that YouTube link, what you could do is just tell them to make sure that they click notify me, and they'll get pinged already from YouTube to come into the space as well. Right. So, yes, you can do this calendar link option if you want to do that. Some people sometimes add it to the calendar. A lot of other people don't. It's up to you. But you can also just tell them to use the notification bell on YouTube. The other thing that I love about this, y'all, about sending people over to a YouTube channel, is it grows your subscribers and it grows your YouTube channel, which ultimately means that you're going to be paid for play now. YouTube is a great platform as an influencer, as a course creator, as an expert to start building on, and people being here is going to be great, right? So yes, you can do that, Kim. It's a lot of labor on my end, so I don't normally do it, but it does help people. It helps some people to have that on their calendar, so it's totally up to you. all you would do is just put that link into your emails, right? That are going to be sent out. So you would just do that. This is taking a minute. Let me see if I reload, if it gives us access to the checkout page. So all I want to do is go to the checkout page, y'all. Let me see. All right, great. It finally did it on the back end. So let me make sure I share that with y'all. Hope I answered your question, Kim. If I didn't, please put another question in the comments. I'm here to support you. Okay, so Kajabi, right? So we're back. So we created our sales page. Now we're creating our checkout page, right? And this is what the back end of the checkout page on Kajabi looks like. So you've got your product, right? Remember, we added that. Now, let's say you release your product, but you aren't ready for it yet. Maybe you're going to do a course, but it's going to be a live course, right? And you want that course to be accessible on a certain date. That's when you can go in here and says begin on specific date. So let's say maybe we're doing it on the 19th, but we want to get people registered and we won't be starting the course until the 26th. We put on the 26th. That's when they would get access to this, right? So if you don't want to do that, you just simply unclick it, right? The other thing that you can have set up on the back end for this checkout is custom emails that can be sent out to folks, like thank you emails. You can add a photo for the actual course, right? Like here, you can go down to automations. I love automations, and I've shared this with you all before. I always add tags, right? So you can add a tag that tags them to that course. You can send them an email, right, for that course, right? Thanking them for going on and signing up. You can do all of those type of automations here to make sure that people get the best processes possible. Then you're going to go over to the pricing, right, which you've already established. You might want to upload that course image that you have here, right? And I'll give you some examples of how you can do that on Kajabi in the pre-recorded training I'll do next week. I'll give you some examples of where you can find some course creation templates. And then, yeah, this is it. Now, like, let's say you only want 100 people to have the course. You can do that, right? Only 100 people can have it. Or let's say you only want to leave the registration open for 2 weeks. You can do a time limit, right? All that is possible here. You know, whatever you want to do is definitely possible. And then settings, we're not going to go to upsells because we're not doing any upsells for this particular course. That's something I'll probably teach later on in Course to Profit, but it won't be taught here. And yeah, so you can send your emails to, like, let's say someone signs up to the course and you want it to be sent to your MailChimp or whatever, you can do that. You can get notified, right? So you can put your email here or your team member's email here. So when someone makes a purchase, you get notified. You can send cart abandonment emails, which I love to do. Someone's thinking about it, send them an email like 6 hours or an hour later so that they don't abandon their cart. So these are all the things you can do. So you've set it up on the back end every way that you want to. And now you're going to edit checkout. Remember this step. Do all the back end stuff. Click on everything. See what you want to do. And then go on and edit checkout, because that just does back end. That doesn't do front end, right? This is what your checkout page is going to look like to your audience. So you're going to go here. You can update the colors, right? You can pick a photo to put in. You can decide to, which I often see my folks do, is like, let's say this form field right here. Maybe you want to add their name and you want to collect their name. You can add that. Maybe you want to collect their address because you're going to send them some swag. Maybe you want to collect their number. You save that, and then that adds that in, right, as an option for you to be able to have when you're supporting folks, right? The other thing that you can have in here, which is great, is you can add in, videos if you wanted to add videos here, or if you wanted to add an image. You can add more testimonials, right? So like it says what people are saying. You can say the person's name. Bob says Evolve is great, right? And you can select the image if you wanted to and add the image here. And you could add a testimonial, right? You can add a bunch of testimonials below here. So you could just go on and glorify and set up your checkout page. Don't make this too difficult for you, yourself, or the folks, because mostly likely if they click here, they're ready to go and they're just ready to purchase. So even when it comes to this, right? Like, I added a few different things. You don't have to do that. You can collect their name. and simply just collect their credit card information, right? And let them move forward. Don't make it difficult for yourself or for them, right? You want to change this up, right? The name, the offer title. You want to add in a call to action. You want to give, right, some type of value. All that should be here. And a lot of this information, to be transparent with y'all can just go on and copy it from your sales page and bring it over here, right? So once they click the sales page and they click that call to action, this is the page that they go to, right? So as a reminder, right? We're at the sales page. Once they click this, they go to that checkout page that I just showed you, right? So that click takes them here, right? So they can buy, purchase, and then all the stuff that we did on the back end, adding the tag, send them an email. That's the actions that happen after they purchase, right? They get access to this and the sales page after your webinar, right? From the emails and from a link from you. That's how they get access to it. This funnel is so easeful for y'all. It's so easeful. It's something that you can do simply. Now, I know I've got some folks who are like, Evolve, this seems like a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. It is. But once it's done, you can duplicate that funnel. Literally. Let me show you. Let me go on out of here. Let me save and go out of here. All you have to do is duplicate the funnel when you're done. And let's say you want to do it again. Like you do it this month, and let's say you want to do this again in December. You're like, this went really well. I want to promote this again. All you would do is come over here. You would go under marketing, under funnels, and you would click here, right? Oh, I thought we were going to be able to duplicate. There's a way to do that. Now I'm going to have to ask my expertise. Let me see. Maybe it's here. Nope. I know there's a way that we can duplicate a funnel. It's just not working for me today. So anyways, I'm not sure how to show you how to do this right now, but I know there's a way in the back end that we can duplicate a funnel. I probably have to ask our customer service folks on how to do that. But anyways, you can duplicate it, or you can go in and copy and paste it and create the whole thing again. So the other thing that I love about this, right, this funnel is that it's 4 steps, very simple, but it also shows you how many visitors, right? So it gives you data on the back end once people start coming in, right? You can see the conversion rate, total revenue, revenue per view, right? You can see registration page, like how many people viewed that, the confirmation page, how many people viewed that, the sales page, how many people got to the checkout page, what are our conversions and what are our sales? So it gives you data to let you know how this works, right? So when you do it again, you can go by that data. What a lot of people do is they don't look at their data. They don't look at their data, y'all. They don't even try to look at it. Why? Why would you not look at the information that your audience is giving you? Why wouldn't you? Right? So for your next task, be creating your webinar funnel. And this should be really easy for you if you completed the last week, which was the workbook. Because all you're doing is you're going to be grabbing that information from that workbook about your offer and creating all of this amazing content. Now, what might be a challenge for you might be some of the graphics, right? And that's why in the beginning, we talked to you about Fiverr and about Canva, because those are 2 real easy resources. And I'll be sure that in the modules on this, we leave the links to those assets, right? Those resources so you can use them, because you might not be a graphic designer, but you have Canva, which makes that a lot simple. Or maybe you've got a little extra cash flow in your business for this course, and you can hire someone on Fiverr to create some mix. Whichever way it goes in the glamour. The glamour is not important. You can always do this again and do it better. What's important is that we get it out there. So let's get it done. And what's most important about it is your language and the way that you set up your sales page, right? So to make this easier for you all, what I've done is I have put together a sales page template. Let me share that with you, and that you're going to get this, right? After this training, we're going to send this out. You'll get this. You'll get access to this. Don't worry. But yeah, this template is going to be game changer for you. This is what you're going to use to make this process a lot easier, right? So you've got your workbook, and now you'll have your sales page template. This breaks down how the structure of your sales page should be, right? You're going to have promise, introduction, what it's not, right? Problem solving and solution, product one, product two, problem starter, solution. This is so easy, right? So it gives you the actual language, how to complete blank, blank, blank in time or use this strategy, right? And these are different headlines that you can have, right? Three ugly truths about what? It's not a course, it's a shortcut, right? Like this is all language that you can use, right? In order to create your actual sales page. Because of three reasons, blank, 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 giving them value. So, what's the solution? The solution is this, and I'm going to teach you that. An amazing and simple step by step system for blank, right? Putting in your audience. All this is about your audience, your desires, the skills that you're giving them, and you just fill in the blank. Now, I know I'm not going to go through all of this because this is for you. This is really like a sample sales page for you to use and for you to put your own language into on that template that I just showed you on Kajabi, right? So I'm not going to go through each one. This is a cheat code for you. Make it easier for you, right? But I know for some people, this isn't helpful. This might be distracting, right? This might be a little distracting for you. Like, wait, I don't want my sales page to sound like every other sales page. Cool, cool. What I've also got together for you, right, is another, which is more of a builder, right? And the difference between the page and the builder is the builder more gives you of concepts that you can use more than the actual template, right? So I'm going to give you this as well, right? And this is kind of like how you should break down your sales page, right? You want to have a pre-header first, a perfect headline, some subtitles, power graphics, opening problem, agitation, solution, right? This is kind of like how we say it. This is your problem. This is maybe why you're agitated. This is the solution we have. What are the features of your program? Any bonuses you may have, any benefits that come from it, a bio about you, some type of guarantee, testimonials. Maybe you have a stack. Maybe you want to give people the access to your course and they also get access to something else, right? Frequently asked questions section and closing remarks. So this is just a different way of looking at it. I'm going to give both of them to you, right? Because depending on what type of learner you are, either one could probably be helpful for you depending on what you need in your business right now, right? So I want to give you access to both so that you can decide how you want to build out this sales page. Both of these can help you and both of these can be great, right? The other thing I'm going to give you, which I'm not going to show you, I'll just give it to you in the resources, is I have a bank of power words. Power words are words that you can use with your audience that really captivate them in marketing, right? So I'm going to give you that bank. It's a bunch of power words that you can use to amplify your marketing, because I realize all of you might be amazing course creators, but maybe you're not a marketer, right? Now, there's someone watching this video that's thinking to themselves, this is great, but this is too much work. I don't have time for this. I have money. What do I do? What I would do is if I had money and didn't have time, I would simply create the funnel, add a little bit of language, and give it to someone on Fiverr, right? And what I'll do is I'll be sure to list a couple of people that I know that create amazing products on Fiverr, on Kajabi. All you have to do is give them your workbook that you've created, right? That has your language in it, and ask them to create this for you. Might cost you $100 or so. But if you don't have the time and you have the money, skip a lot of these steps and have someone else create it. And what you can do, have them create it. And before you say the job is complete, send it over to me and my team to review. We'll give you some feedback that you can give them and they can update it. So no matter who you are, whether you're a person that needs to do this for free, whether you're a person that is able to pay to play, you should be able to get this done. This is the next step. This is the money making step for you. Remember last week we talked about getting that step done makes this next step so much easier because now you have language and you know what your offer is, right? So the next step is that you're going to go in and you're going to create your webinar funnel so that you can start to promote this thing, right? And the next training I'm going to do for you, which will be live by Wednesday, probably of this week, that's going to be all about email marketing and social media marketing so that you can market this thing to your audience. We're getting in the nitty gritty now, y'all. I hope y'all are excited. This is the part I get excited about. You've put so much energy into your offer, you've validated with your audience, you've created a lead magnet, right? And with your lead magnet, what I want you to know with that, that's something that you can use as a bonus in your course or a bonus that people get in your webinar. Sign up for my webinar, get a free live training, and get this free lead magnet. So don't worry about it. You can use it in so many different places. And if you want to, like, let's say after you do your webinar, it's done. I suggest people don't do promotions every week. Like, you do this webinar promotion, it's going to take you 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe you give yourself 4 weeks before you do it again. In between that 4 weeks before your next webinar, where you're going to be promoting your online course, you can have promotion about your lead magnet, which allows you to grow your email list. And then when it's time for your next webinar, who do you email? You email everyone on your email list, right? So these things that you're building are going to be cornerstones and foundations of your business for years to come, right? All it takes is a few sales for you to be able to have profit, pay for a Kajabi, pay a bill, and next thing you know, live off of the money from your course, right? Course to profit. So I see we have a couple of questions, and what I want to say is I'm going to answer a few of them, but we have a Q&A this week, right? Remember, this is a training environment. I want to answer nitty-gritty questions for you at our Q&A space, right? Which is exclusively for everyone who signed up for this. So I'm going to answer a few that I can, and then I'm going to go and enjoy this amazing holiday. And remember, tomorrow, 12 p.m., we're going to do our Q&A. It's different than the normal weeks because we're in a holiday week and I'm traveling. So tomorrow, 12, we'll do the Q&A. Be there, come and ask questions. And then I'm going to have a bonus Q&A on Friday. Right now, I only see one person is actually scheduled and signed up for the bonus Q&A. If I don't see more than one person sign up, it will be canceled. So if you want to be there and you want to ask questions on Friday, go on to our Mighty Networks, go into events and sign up for the Q&A for Friday. There's a ton of you signed up for the Q&A for tomorrow, and I'm excited to answer your questions. But for Friday, I don't see anyone but one person. So I need a few more of you to actually sign up. And if not, we're going to cancel it because I don't want to waste your time and mine, right? So let's see about these questions. Should this webinar be related to our course? Example is yummy appetizer to our main meal. Yes, great question, Spirit. So the intention of this webinar is that it is related to your course. You don't want to do a random webinar because what you're going to be selling at the end of the webinar is your course, right? So what I want you to think about, if you have a course that you're creating, don't be afraid to give too much value. What you could teach at your webinar is maybe the first module or maybe a lesson that you know you're going to have in your course, because the more value that you give people, the more likely they are to sign up with you. Right? So we give them extreme value. And what I'm going to actually give you, don't worry, Spirit, and don't worry other folks watching this, you're going to get a webinar script. Right? I'm going to give you an actual script that you can use, and you'll just have to fill in your content. But you want your webinar to give them just enough. And what I always say at the beginning of my webinar is we only got about 60 minutes together. So I'm going to give you as much as I can, but I want everyone to know that's here. I know that this might not be enough, and I have a gift for you at the end. So don't worry, stick around to the end. I have a gift for you, something that'll allow you to go a little bit deeper. But for now, stay present as possible. Take out your notebooks and let's get into learning this topic. Then at the end of the webinar, the gift is access to your course. And you're going to give them access to your course on a level that's like only available for a short amount of time, right? Remember the email funnel I showed you. It's only available for that week. You have access to this for this amount of money. After that, it goes up, or after that, it disappears, right? So that's what the webinar is about. Great, great question. Kim, do you have a list of folks you could recommend who are awesome at Kajabi in general? Yep, I sure do, Kim. And what I'll do when I put out the resource list for this module, which you'll get in the next couple of hours after this live training, I'll make sure I add who are my favorite Kajabians, the favorite folks that I work with that are able to help me and really update my Kajabi when I don't have capacity to do it. All right. Eve, pretty sure I signed up, but need to verify that technology didn't mess me up. I'm not sure what you're talking about that you signed up for, but if you did sign up for it, I hope you did get access. Technology can be very interesting and confusing. So, in closing, y'all, right? If you have other questions, please go into Mighty Networks, put them on the questions thread, which will be up later on today, or just add them into the discussion session for our session tomorrow, right? In closing, I want you to know that a webinar funnel and learning how to do this is a skill set that you're going to need as a course creator. The way that people really are able to share and really deliver and dominate is by having live trainings that really give value. So, this is just the beginning of this, right? When we have our next live training, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of how you put together actual content for your course, content for your webinar, for all these things that make it easeful and more easy for your audience to learn. Because being a great facilitator of space is just as powerful as being a great marketer. Because what you want to do is you want to create raving fans. If you're able to have 100 people, 50 people, 20 people who will buy from you consistently, that is your business. I see so many people wanting 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 100,000 followers. Followers are great. Likes are great. But what I love more than that is a micro commitment. And when someone commits to your webinar, shows up, takes time off, maybe puts the kids in daycare for an extra hour, you want to come with the best information as possible. And that's what I'm going to train you to be able to do after you create this funnel. I know so many of you are watching this video, you want the next step. Don't worry about the next step. If you didn't do the last step, get that done. Do this step, and then we will guide you to the next step, right? Now, a couple of you hit me up and you were like, Evolve, 6 weeks isn't enough. I want more of this. And what I want you to know is that there's an opportunity for you to stick around a little bit longer. And I'm going to give that to you, but that's not going to be at this training. But there will be an opportunity for you to sign up and stick around at S4P University under our Course to Profit platform so that you can continue to get support on building your digital products. But I don't want you to worry about that, because the only reason you're worried about staying longer is because you haven't caught up with today. Get caught up with the training and development. We don't have another live training until September 19th. That gives you a lot of time to get caught up on all of this and to get ready to launch this thing. So no more excuses. Let's step into implementation. Let's get undistracted, because you all have courses that are powerful that are going to change the world. And there's no need for you to be sitting stagnant when you have something that is going to impact, change the world, and change your world very, very soon. So thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up live. If you're watching this in the replay, just put #replay, right? We appreciate you. I am so thankful for you, and I'm thankful for the things that you're building. Q&A tomorrow and another one on Friday. I'll see you then, and have an amazing, amazing Labor Day. I hope that you all are able to really get some rest and restoration, and I can't wait until the next time we're together. Peace and blessings. Have a good one, and get some money, y'all.